All right, everybody, welcome back. Everyone who was watching that Bronze Series race, shout out to you guys. Thank you for stopping in and cheering on these Silver Peeps. We're getting ready for the championship races here at PRA PSN Wreckfest Season 22. Watching the Silver Series. I'm going to be joined in the booth by my good buddy Petrie, coming off a hot win in gold last week. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Had a good time last week. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, it was a fun week. I definitely wish I didn't crash and burn and throw my whole race away by myself, but it's you win some, you lose some.
Oh man, that happens. Win a few, lose a lot. That's the
That's
name of
right,
the game.
especially in the gold series. I mean, if you're not a freak like Zombie or W or when I'm practiced, some people throw me in that category, but it's clearly this season I'm not it.
Yeah, same.
But it's always good fun. We're getting ready for
Oh
some
yeah.
Silver Series, as I said. Let's pull up the point standings. Currently in the lead is Mr. Wumbo225 with 149 points, followed very closely by Inferno with 145. So we have a 4-point spread between first and second. And you know what? Texas isn't far behind them either with 140. So basically have a three-way battle going into these final two races.
Yeah, man. It's always got to be tight.
Yeah,
It's good. It keeps it fun.
it does. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure on the drivers in these last two races, as well as a fun storyline for us to follow throughout the night.
Absolutely.
And what's cool is I don't think that I've ever seen a season where all three championship battles were actual battles going into the final week.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
farthest gap we had was 9 points, which is quite a bit, but still possible. I mean, had Lou made a few less mistakes, he could have won it there after I sent Nitro into the pit of doom.
Wow, it was that close, huh?
Yeah, he was only 4 points back going into that last race, so just a handful of positions, and Lou would have had the championship there.
Wow.
But we are getting ready for Vale Falls main reverse. Whoever picked that should go jump in a
Yeah.
hole,
That's
Squeller.
rough pick. Well,
Yeah, definitely a tough track, especially I find the reverse way harder than the main for some reason. I don't know what it is.
okay.
I just cannot figure this track out. So if you do come and tune in for the Gold Series race, don't expect anything fancy from me here. But Sandstone, I'm on a mission. I'm a man on a mission at Sandstone.
All right. I haven't figured out sandstone, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sandstone's very tough. I've spent thousands and thousands of laps on that track, either going for leaderboard times or practicing and grinding for races because I was a degenerate once who spent my entire life on this game. Um,
Oh yeah.
I
I
think,
think we all are.
yeah, I think we've all been there at some point.
Yeah.
Ty in the chat calling out Temp for the dub. Are you calling Temp for the dub here at Vale
And,
Falls? Or just in general? Temp always wins. So far, we only have a handful of people here in the Silver Series. We got Texas, Wumbo, Soulpun, Temp, Inferno, Nuclear, and C-Dub. Hopefully a few more people are able to hop in. For both. Sounds good, Ty.
I says both. He's gonna win tonight, win the championship.
Going for Temp with the sweep. Mathematically, that wouldn't matter, but it'd be really cool. Temp currently in 7th with 106 points, so a 43-point spread on him and Wumbo there. Definitely not going to do very well for him. Almost as embarrassing as the 81-point gap between me and Zombie in gold.
Okay.
Graham, you not racing tonight, brother? What the heck?
Come on, Graham.
Don't be like that. I'm just playing. If you're too busy, you got other stuff going on. I understand. Also, Petrie, I did specifically tell Inferno that I'm going to be cheering him on and trying to commentators curse him all night. So if I'm talking a
Okay.
lot about him, that's why.
Then we'll call Inferno for the sweep.
Perfect, yes. Inferno for the sweep. Going for the championship. I'd love to see it. I mean, yeah, you are ahead of me in gold tie, but no, leave me alone. Listen, I'm a man on a mission tonight at Sandstone, and it's because of you, sir. Because of you. For those who don't know, I did speak on it in that bronze series. No matter how much pace I've ever had on tie at Sandstone Short, he remains undefeated against me. I cannot beat that man there. Tonight's the night. I don't care if I gotta wreck you, throw you off a cliff. Tonight's the night. When did I
We got
take
full
you
pun
out
with
at
the first outlap.
Sandstone?
Took me out.
I don't think I've ever taken you out at Sandstone. Savlac, sure, but not as bad as the time you took me out at Hilltop, all right? Well, we're going to have our first flying laps coming through. Solpon starting us off with a 33.707. Not a bad lap.
Temp with a 33.8.
Yeah, I definitely expect all of these guys to be in the 33s. Or very close to it. We saw in the bronze series, actually, it was Chairbender ran a 33.4, which was unreal. I mean, 4/10 faster than the guy in second with lap times.
Yeah.
Wumbo, your points leader, sets a hot one. C-Dub with a 34.3. Good to see C-Dub back. It's been a while since he's raced with us over in the Silver Series.
Yeah.
From what I heard, he's had some internet issues and whatnot, so he finally got that all fixed up, and he's excited to come race with us again.
Good.
Inferno, you're not allowed to have pole positions. Come on.
Oh boy. Beginning of the commentator's curse now.
That's right. As soon as I see him doing well, that's it. It's game over for you, brother. He's chasing down Texas during this qualifying laps. I always find it's easier to follow somebody during qualifying, so you see where they make mistakes and you can improve on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps, especially when you can get behind one of the really fast people to really help you get up there for a little bit.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely a couple times this season where the only reason I qualified any halfway decent is because I hopped behind Zombie and said, "Show me the way, brother."
Oh, yeah.
Man,
The hard part for me is half time I jump behind Zombie or you. I just can't keep up, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's also happened to me a couple times with him, with Zombie there. Looks like Inferno will be the pole setter for this race. Mark down the bonus point. He is now only 3 points behind Wumbo.
Attaboy.
Temp going to be in second. Wumbo in third. Solpun in fourth. Nuclear in fifth. Texas in sixth. And C-Dub in seventh on the grid. We're getting ready for 25 laps here at Vale Falls. It's going to be interesting. Sorry, I'm just getting messages in the board chat that may be urgent, so I just got to read through it real quick.
All right. Might have to yell at my kids here in a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
The one with asthma is coughing insanely.
And you're going to yell at him
So,
for it?
well, sounds like she's being a little exaggerating. So
Oh,
I'll be
it's
back in a
one of
minute.
those. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. I've read through the board chat. It is nothing of urgency as of now, so. Well, we are getting ready here. As soon as Racer says, let's get it going, then we will get it going. This is going to be a battle for sure. I mean, you see with the lap times here, everyone, at least in the top five, so close, within a tenth and a half of each other. So I expect this to be a very interesting race as we are getting lined up for our pace lap. Excuse me. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just dying over here.
All right. I have returned.
Welcome back. I think I'm going to ride on board with Texas here at the start of this race. Good mid-pack view. He's on the inside in row number 3. Never mind. He's on the outside of row number 3.
Switch it up.
You know, you got to change it every once in a while. All right, we are stacked up and packed up, getting ready to go. Green. She held them after the line. I call a restart.
Oh boy.
Wumbo instantly getting pushed through with Texas. Almost getting that spot on Inferno right off the bat, and he is going to get it. It looks like Texas might get in the way here, too.
Temp makes his way up front. Wumbo hits the inside wall. Or outside wall, my bad.
Yeah, and Texas made a small error going into that right-hander as well. That's going to give Inferno the position back. Temp off to a good early lead here. It's going to be tough to catch him, especially if they keep battling like this. Nuclear and Soulpun up the inside. Nuclear just about makes it work on Texas. Still battling for that position. They both have to check up. That's going to give a good gap for Inferno and Wumbo to battle it out.
Yeah. Ooh, Texas, right on the inside of Nuclear.
Yeah, small little bit of contact made. Nothing too bad. Able to get the pass done. Got an awesome battle back here for 5th between Nuclear, C-Dub, and Soulpun. Unfortunately, they have to check up, so C-Dub going to get a good gap. First,
Temp's got a little bit of clear air.
Yeah, he's definitely enjoying it, though I don't know if he's going to have it for too much longer.
Wumbo's right on his tail now.
Yeah, and Wumbo did set a good one on his first flying lap of the race with a 33.5.
Nice.
And best sit with a 33.374 that lap, so he is pushing that car. Everything's starting to get a little more single file here. It looks like we do have a battle.
Wumbo took the outside line.
Yeah. Wumbo pushing hard for this position. He wants to end off the season with some victories, and I don't blame him. No better way to end off a season. Wumbo dives it in the inside, a little bit of contact made, but Temp holding that outside speed, going to keep the position. Scrolling through the pack once again, and it seems like everyone's still single file here for the most part. So we will keep our eyes up front with Wumbo. As even these guys are pretty single filed. Looks like we might be in for a bit of a slow race here.
Yeah, it's tough with so few racers.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. Definitely Makes it a little less exciting. There's usually battles going on where you're getting up to those 12, 13 car fields.
Right.
But when there's only 7...
Still putting it on heavy.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I mean, especially with Inferno still only one position behind him, he's any point he can scratch together here is going to be big for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to have as big of a gap going into this final race as he can. So we've got a bit of a battle here going on towards the middle of the pack between Nuclear and C-Dub. Nuclear trying to go up the inside. Not quite enough to get it. Yeah, definitely the surprise of the year, I think, is Nuclear. He used to race with us back in the day, back when we were considered silver racers.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Wumbo got shuffled back. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
And Temp just cut that corner too hard. Inferno pulls in for first.
Man, Inferno into the lead is going to be big if he can hold on to it. His job now is to keep it consistent, keep it clean, and run.
Yeah, Wumbo's coming right back for Temp.
Yeah, I think Inferno is really going to be banking on Temp, putting on some good defense for him, trying to hold Wumbo back. And I find that normally happens, you know, when you have one racer who's been so strong all season, everyone kind of tries to gang up on them near the end to maybe give someone else.
Slow them down.
That's right. I mean, that's my golden night is going to be it's going to be to hold Zombie back as much as I can. I'm trying to get Zuri's that championship. He's only a few points behind.
Okay.
Shout out to my boy Zuri's. His returning season also, and he's been putting on a show. Oh, no, Temp with a big mistake. And no contact was made. That was a single car incident. No tally will be called on that.
Inferno's got a huge gap now.
Yeah, Inferno is definitely checked out here. Like, even if Wumbo's running a tenth or two faster than him a lap, it's going to be tough to catch him by the end of this race. Especially if Texas battles him a little bit. He did get a little close going into that first corner, but Wumbo able to hold more speed.
I just watched Texas go on the outside on that little berm. Does that give you a little push off of it?
I'm assuming it probably does. I haven't ran too many laps on this track, and I found that because of how underpowered this car is, I find it doesn't quite give you the rotation that you need to make that corner.
Okay.
You know, I feel like you have to scrub too much speed to get the rotation in. But, I mean, it could be faster. I've no clue.
Yeah, maybe it was just a fluke thing, but it looked like he was running it intentionally that way.
I know we ran a few practice laps before the bronze race started, and he was definitely doing it there because he was trying to follow my line and see what I was doing. And he noticed that I wasn't going up on that berm, and he mentioned it. So
okay,
maybe that's what he's thinking, is he's trying to copy what I was doing. Which here, Wumbo makes a pretty good mistake. Texas trying to find the outside. Wumbo does a great job of defending. Looks like Solpun's got a little bit of cosmetic damage and some health lost. He was likely involved in some sort of an incident. Looks like Texas up the inside of Wumbo. He is really putting on the aggression here, trying to get around him, helping his brother Inferno as much as he can.
Ooh, played way hard off.
Seems like Nuclear is trying to catch these guys up here, but these front two, even though they're battling, are just running so consistent.
Wumbo
Oh,
on the inside.
this is big for Inferno. Nuclear just took the fast lap. So that will be a bonus point taken away from Wumbo if he's not able to get it back. And a 33.341 is nothing to slouch at. That is a very strong lap time here.
That's a great lap time.
And because of it, he is pretty much on the tail of Texas. Temp making another little mistake. He is really falling off the pace here in the later stages of this race. And Inferno still just fully checked out. And I mean, if the race ends like this and nobody gets that fast lap bonus point back,
Here comes Nuclear.
yeah, Nuclear up the inside of Texas. Both Texas and Wumbo made a mistake there. Texas able to hold the outside speed. But if this race were to end like this, there would be a 1 point difference between Wumbo and Inferno, I believe. No, it'd be a 2 point difference. Nuclear and Texas side by side for damn near this entire lap. With very little contact made. Very well done by these two. But that does give Wumbo the chance to run away from Texas. Now with way less time to catch.
I feel like Nuclear's being too nice.
I think so too. I mean, there's a fine line between over aggressive and being too nice, but you know, he's definitely more on the side of too nice.
Yeah, he's got a run here usually in this corner. And yeah, he just can't. He just backs off, it seems.
Yeah, it almost feels like he thinks he's racing open wheel where you really can't make any contact or someone's crashing. But
Right.
a game like this, a little bump in the corner, it's not going to hurt anybody. And you know what? A game with no draft or catch-up mechanic, just your skill, it's sometimes what you have to do, especially on a tighter course like this. Just scrolling through the field, taking a peek, seeing if there's any other interesting things happening. Not particularly, so we will ride on board with Nuclear here. As Wumbo still trying to do everything he can to catch Inferno. Inferno did run a 33.4. You know what? I haven't talked about him enough. Inferno, where you at? Where you at? There he is. Let's see how he's taking this this track. Definitely more on the limits than the Bronze Series guys, which is no surprise there. I always find that this first corner, this big swooping hairpin, is so difficult for me to just nail.
Same. It is the hardest one.
Yeah, everywhere else I feel pretty comfortable. You know, everywhere else is pretty much flat out other than this right-hander that Inferno's going through right now and that hairpin.
Yep. On that tail end a little too hard. There he makes up for it in that corner.
Yeah, I will say something must have happened with Nuclear as Temp is now around Nuclear and he's quite far off of Texas, so
Oh, wow.
definitely a sizable little error. We are at caution cutoff. Lap 23 was the cutoff. So we are green to the end. Texas hits the inside on rock corner, as AY used to call it. Big rock corner. I will say, Wumbo has been catching Inferno here, but with the battling that he had to do with Texas, Inferno really got a nice gap, and it seems like he's kind of taking it easy at this point.
Yeah, he's not driving it too hard.
No, and I don't blame him.
No, take it easy. Keep it smooth.
Nuclear with a 33.224. That is better than my PB. Yeah, that kid is definitely flying. I think if he gets his consistency up a little bit, definitely a strong candidate for getting the bump up to gold at some point.
Agreed. Yep.
Although I think this season it'll go to either Wumbo or Inferno or both.
Could very well be both, yeah. Inferno coming around the last bend for the win.
Yeah, he
catastrophic
sails it into the finish line, taking home the victory. Wumbo in second. So there will be a 2-point difference going into the final race. Texas in third, Temp in fourth, Nuclear in fifth, Solpun in sixth, maybe. Yep. And C-Dub coming across the line in seventh. Inferno's already in the booth, so he should know the drill to get on up here. If he will. Nuclear and Texas. You just want everyone up to gold, don't you, Graham? That's all right, fine. If he's going to take his sweet old time, I'll invite him. You think he'd know the drill by now?
You would think. There he is.
Mr.
Hello.
Inferno. Welcome back to the booth. Good to have you here. You enjoying your corner?
Thank
Thought
you.
you'd come hang out again?
Absolutely, I missed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Great win, sir. Definitely an interesting start to that race. I mean, you fell back a couple positions early on there, but you pulled through, was able to get the passes done when you needed to, and ran away with it.
Yeah, very interesting start for sure. I think Wumbo was chomping at the bit there. He gave me a little nudging, but it's all good. Unfortunately, man, Wumbo and Temp just both messed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna try and keep it as clean as I can right now. And then Texas was battling Wumbo, and I was like, go, man, go.
Yeah.
Don't mess up.
Yeah, that battle between Texas and Wumbo was very strong. I mean, they were going at each other for a good 10, 12 laps there. And, that really was able to allow you to put on such a big gap that when Texas made an error, Wumbo just didn't have enough time to catch you.
Yeah, I saw him coming on the track, and I was like, all right, I got 4 laps. Like, if I'm good, he's not going to catch me.
And, well, luckily for you, Nuclear was also able to snipe that fast lap bonus point.
I know.
So-
I saw that. I was like,
Just to put it into your head before you go into this race, you're only 2 points behind him.
well, thanks for making me more nervous.
Anytime, bud. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. All right. Well, just make sure to stay off of me during this one, all right, please? Don't talk about me at all.
Well, we shall see. All right, good luck, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Good luck, man.
Thank you. See ya.
That was your race number 1 winner, Inferno. Shout out to him. Big victory. And like I said, this is now a 2-point gap between our leader and Inferno. I have a feeling that this one's going to go down to the wire, man.
Yeah. Who do you think? Have you seen anybody in practice on this track yet? Any of these guys?
I haven't. I was just looking at the leaderboards here. Seems like Wumbo's PB's got a 47.351. And Inferno's got a 47.399. So very close. Nuclear splitting them right in the middle. And as for the rest of the silver boys, there's only one other silver that I see up here, and that is Mr. Solpun with a 47.1.
Okay, good for him.
So it looks like he's going to be the man to beat here. And you know what? I'm cheering for a Solpun win. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, let's see it.
Haven't seen a Solpun victory in quite some time. I'd love to bring him up here and to hear the chaos that is his house.
Yeah.
But because he specifically asked me not to ride on board with him, let's ride on board with Inferno for this qualifying session.
Sounds good to me.
At least for a lap or two here. I won't ride on him all of qualifying, but just enough to let Racer know, who I'm sure is watching the stream, that we are watching him and to make him a little more nervous. That's my goal here. But
Wumbo, you're not going to want to get bit behind C-Dub. Okay, good choice.
C-Dub pulls off, allows Wumbo through like a gentleman. I will say, like I said in the bronze stream there, this track is also very technical, but for very different reasons from Vale Falls. It's a little more open, but with that, it's a lot of higher speed corners, some jumps happening. I mean, you got this death right-hander.
Inside berm.
Yeah.
Over the cliff. I'm hit it already.
Perfect. Inferno hit it too, so now we can hop off of him. But yeah, I mean, that uphill right-hander is going to cause a lot of carnage, chaos, and mayhem, especially in the Gold Series, I'm sure, as we're all going to be pushing to the car's limit.
Yeah, it looks like Temp, Inferno, and Sultan all hit the berm.
I mean, that's going to happen when you're pushing for times, you know, maybe a little nervous for Inferno going into this last race. Wumbo setting the first hot lap with a 47.5. So about 2.5 tenths, 2.23 seconds off of his current personal best. I'm interested to see where Soul Pun lands here, because I know this is another one of those tracks that he has put a lot of time in. You know, similar to Rosenheim last week, where Soul Pun looked, you know, considerably stronger than some of the other races this season. Just the amount of time he has on these tracks is a lot greater than some of the others.
Right.
And you'll notice that all of the tracks that he's just slightly stronger at than the others were all of the Road Slayer season, when this man went bananas and was messaging the Discord at like 6 a.m. asking people to practice.
Man, that's right. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that would have been over 2 years ago now. So Temp besting Wumbo and Inferno's current PBs with a 47.345. Trying to lock in that pole position. All right, I'm hopping on board with Inferno again as he's coming around this final corner. See what kind of time he's putting down. And it is a good one, enough to put him second on the starting grid. Though, second on this starting grid is a little terrifying. Soul Pun also runs a 47.5 that lap, putting him into third place. I'm a little surprised to see that Texas isn't down into that 47 range yet.
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't get a good practice in this week.
I know ever since he's downloaded iRacing, his speed has dropped dramatically here.
Okay.
The iRacing plague has started in PSN Wreckfest. And Soul Pun and Texas get into it a little bit on this final corner. It's going to slow them both down. But Texas does improve, and I'd sold Soul Pun, I think, by a few thousandths. So Temp is your pole setter for this final race of the Silver Series. Inferno in second, Soul Pun in third, Wumbo in fourth, Nuclear in fifth, Texas in sixth, and C-Dub rounding out the field in seventh. This is going to be an interesting one. 20 laps here. Do or die time for both Inferno and Wumbo. I believe Texas is probably mathematically pretty close to out of this battle.
Okay. Yep, I think you just avoid the inside berm.
Yep,
That's the name of this track.
I agree. If you don't have to push, then don't.
Now, what's the common tune for this one?
So the common tune, I've heard a lot of people are running the 3 gear here.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm running the 2 gear.
All right.
I never tried the 3 gear, but I hit the 2 gear and found it to be very comfortable and very fast, so I just kind of stuck with it. But it seems like most people are either a 5.3, 5.3 or 5.2, 5.3. I run a 1 brake, but it's because I never got used to that 3. I just don't know how I feel about it yet.
Yeah, I've been running the 2 on the brakes because I can't do the 3.
Yeah, I enjoy the middle ground, especially more in B class. I find B class I like having that 2 brake, but we're gonna see Racer jump out here and clear some debris off the track. Unfortunately for us gold racers, I'm the official tonight, so we're not gonna have this luxury.
Okay.
We get to take it out on our own. Just means we're gonna have to have some teamwork. We've done it before.
Yeah, so nobody gains engine damage on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, I've cleared enough of this debris. I mean, I don't clear some of these tires. Like Racer just took out those right-hand ones. I don't touch those. I don't touch these ones. But enough to run a fast line that you don't get damage.
Okay.
But still, evening out the track maintenance is always handy.
This is the worst one.
Oh yeah, if you push it just a little too hard through there, it can eat some laps, that's for sure. And clears out this fence. Yep, that's a good one to hit.
Good choices.
And she pulls off the track. So this is going to be interesting. Let's take a look at the point standings one more time to see, for tiebreaker purposes, if we end up there. So if Inferno wins this race and they end up tied, they're tied for wins, which means it goes to poles. So Wumbo would take it if they end up tied.
Okay. Here we go. The green, green, green.
We are green for potentially the last time here in the Silver Series for season 22. Soul Pun gets sideways. What a fantastic save. Texas just bullies Wumbo out of the way in this sweeping right-hander. I think he's playing as third imposter here for Inferno. But he may be better off just letting Nuclear go and do the damage. Nuclear proven to be quite fast. And it's kind of the same story as race number 1 here, where Temp pulling away to a pretty solid lead, except instead of Wumbo, it's Inferno trying to run him down. And Wumbo trying to get both of them. Wumbo making a small error in that right-hand uphill. Texas gives him a little bump into that sweeping right-hander. Trying to give him maybe a little bump and run. Temp manages to hit the one fence that was remaining after Racer did the track maintenance.
It's always how it goes.
Every time. I mean, you know, there's one stack of tires left or something. I'm going to hit it eventually. It's going to happen. After the first few laps are done, Temp so far with the fast lap with a 47.513. Inferno not too far behind that with a 47.577. Man, Texas always seems to be getting a run here in this sweeping right-hander on Wumbo, just not able to capitalize. Wumbo having the inside line. Oh, okay, see you later, Wumbo.
Whoa.
I think I said his name too many times. Commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen. I did it to the wrong person. But still plenty of race left to go. Anything can happen. C-Dub going to pull off, let Wumbo through.
I think Texas is running a 1 gear on this.
If he's
That
running
might be why he's
one
getting such a
gear,
good run at that one corner.
Oh, he's definitely in a 1 gear. Texas, this is not what I taught you, brother. I said a 2 gear, very specifically 2 gear.
Yeah, Nuclear's catching up to him.
Yeah, and that 1 gear is going to have some issues throughout some of these corners where you're kind of in an awkward spot of if you're in the upper gear, you're going to bog. If you're in the lower gear, you're rev bombing it. So you really don't have any pull. It's an interesting gear. I didn't like it the first time I ran it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely holding his own with a 47.6 right now.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing bad.
But, and so far, he's doing enough defense on Nuclear to keep him behind him.
Yeah, as this race goes on, Inferno's is going to get more and more nervous here, I think, especially knowing that if the race holds like this, he will be crowned the Season 22 champion.
Yeah, with Wumbo sitting in 6th, it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, he's sitting in 6th with a pretty solid gap to Solpun there. I mean, Wumbo's fast, but we saw all of these guys up front running really solid lap times. I mean, they all have better lap times than him as of right now.
Yeah, man.
Now, he's definitely catching Solpun, and he is flying. This is going to be a really good lap if he doesn't make any mistakes on this last corner. And he is definitely in the 3 gear.
I think Solpun's in a 1 gear as well. Solpun with a 47.2. Looks like Wumbo took the top time.
Yeah.
Of a 47.191. Goodness.
That's what I mean. I could tell just by, I watched him for that whole lap, and he was moving. He hit everything very, very well. And I mean, if you're catching someone who's going to run a 0.2, you know you're doing something right.
Yeah, for sure.
Good battle here for the final podium position. Solpun up in this battle now with Nuclear in Texas.
Nuclear little bump.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be on the receiving end of it. I mean, it really picks your momentum up through the corner.
Yeah.
Makes it really nice. I find that corner is really easy to scrub a lot of speed if you don't hit it just right. So getting that little tap makes it easier in Texas.
Texas going off the cliff.
Claimed by the Cliff of Doom. And that's going to jump Wumbo up into 5th. So if my math checks out, Inferno would be 14, 13, 12, 11, 3 points, but he's got the bonus point. Makes it 2. They would be tied if it ended if it ended exactly like this.
What do we do then?
Well, if it's a tie, it goes to our tiebreakers, which goes by wins. So in the wins category, as long as Inferno doesn't win this race, with Wumbo jumping up a spot, Wumbo would win through that tiebreaker.
Okay.
If they're tied there, that wins, it goes to the pole positions. Wumbo would beat Inferno there. So if they end up tied, Wumbo takes it. which I can't remember. I think there's been one official tiebreaker for championship that I can remember in the last 11 seasons that I've been a part of PRA.
Soul Pun just stepped up into third right now.
Yeah, Nuclear made a small error and was able to give Soul Pun a nice little run. No contact made. Very clean pass. What's scary is, I don't know if you just saw it, but Nuclear just barely clipped that berm coming up the hill.
Ooh.
And if it's terrifying, but if you hit it just right, you can carry so much speed going through that corner. Like, and your left tires are still on the ground, so you're actually getting acceleration. It's absolutely terrifying, and I do not recommend anyone try it. But let's see if he can replicate that, just to show you what I mean here. There's kind of like two levels to this berm. There's the upper one that you don't want to touch ever, and then there's a little lip. Soul Pun almost off track, able to save it.
Yeah, he went nice and wide on there.
See, and sometimes you can save it. Then you get to the bottom of the hill, and there's some jerk left a giant ass boulder down there. I don't know why, but Nuclear trying to catch Soul Pun, but Soul Pun has been running very, very strong. We now have 3 guys in the 47.2s, and obviously Wumbo, in the 47.1.
Yeah.
So this Silver Series just proven just how fast they really are. Soul Pun kind of did the trick that I was talking about earlier.
Seems like Inferno's gaining on temp right now.
Oh, it looks like he is closing that gap down. And you know what? This will be what we watch for now, because this is the championship at stake, is right here. Unless Wumbo's able to catch Nuclear, but man, that's a pretty big gap. He would have to make a pretty large error for Wumbo to catch him. Inferno going very wide up the hill.
Very wide.
Maybe just trying to play it safe. I don't know if he maybe did the math or not of these point standings. And you know what? Maybe he doesn't. Oh, he doesn't have the fast lap anymore. Mr. Soul Pun took the fast lap with a 47.121. So now Inferno can stay in this position as long as no other changes happens and win the race or the championship. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. Coming down to the last 5 laps here of the race, the last quarter. Wumbo might just have to push for lap time here. Which, I mean, he's already PB'd by like... Oh, he might get a position on Soul Pun. Soul Pun making a big error down the hill. But is able to hold on. The Wumbo's now very close to him. This one is going to go down to the wire.
The wire.
Exactly.
The wired.
Exactly how we like it. Not a lot of battles happening, but I guarantee you some of these drivers having some mental battles, namely Inferno and Wumbo.
Yeah. Inferno's still right up on Temp's tail.
Yeah, it seems like Inferno really hasn't gained any, hasn't really lost any. I think Inferno might be in the 2 gear. He is. He's definitely in that 2 gear.
You're right.
He's not shifting fast enough.
Oh boy.
He's definitely getting to the top end of that limiter. losing a little bit of speed here and there. Inferno runs a 47.161. He is tracking Temp down 4 laps to... Oh, I almost did it. Whew. Whew. Just having flashbacks to Nitro there.
Yeah.
But definitely closed down the gap. Even though it looked terrifying, it was still fast. Temp doing everything he can, just trying to run away from him. Love to end the season off on a victory. Caution cut off, green to the end, 3 laps to go. It's a matter of, will it end like this? Will Inferno pass Temp, or will Wumbo pass Soulpun? Soulpun definitely has ran away from Wumbo at this point. I don't know if maybe Wumbo made him another mistake or two, but Soulpun has checked out from Wumbo. Oh, Inferno.
The 2-year.
Yeah, I'm sure he was probably listening in, getting the secrets.
Yeah.
I don't know. Clearly it's working for these guys. I mean, pretty much all of them have PB'd this race so far, at least the ones in the top end of this field. So, hey.
Nuclear took 3rd from Soul?
Yeah, Soulpun made a pretty big mistake earlier.
Okay.
And Nuclear was able to make the pass. Actually, Soulpun was very close to Wumbo after that mistake. Wumbo almost was able to capitalize on it as well.
Got it.
And if Wumbo didn't know that he didn't have the fast lap anymore, he definitely does at this point, as he improved to a 47.174, which will show up as a nice, pretty green lap timer for him.
Yeah.
Looks like C-Dub trying to catch Mr. Texas here near the back end of this race. Just one more lap to go for the leaders of the race. Temp has a good gap on Inferno. I think Inferno maybe has done the math and said, you know what? I don't need to risk it. As far as I'm aware, though this could be different. This is going to be a Wetberg math type deal. I think if it ends exactly like this, Inferno will be the Season 22 champion of the Silver Series.
All right. Temp coming on the straight.
Temp coming down for his race victory. 2nd ever PRA victory for Mr. Temp. And what a way to do it on the last race of the season. Inferno coming home in 2nd, Nuclear in 3rd, Soulpun in 4th, Wumbo in 5th, C-Dub in 6th, and Texas is going to round out your field in 7th. Now, as long as my math was correct and I'm not dumb, I believe Inferno is unofficially your Season 22 Silver Series champion. I'm going to invite Temp up into here. I'm going to invite Inferno up into here. And let's get Wumbo up into here also. Temp, Inferno, and Wumbo. Get them up here. And here comes the squad.
Yep. Who win, Temp?
Army of the Silver
job,
Series. Yeah, let's start off with Temp. Congratulations on
Thank you.
race win number 2 of the season and 2 overall in PRA, man.
Yes, sir.
You almost had the sweep tonight.
Yeah, I gave that first race away. Okay, I couldn't keep it together, but
And
it is what it is.
And you know what? Ty even called it. The first thing he said in the chat at the start of the stream, Temp for the dub. I asked if he meant Vale Falls or Sandstone. He said both.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have gave away. I would also been get a sweep, but you know, it's racing.
Yeah, it happens. Definitely a good race for you, both of them. I mean, a couple errors here and there, but
Furno was coming, so.
yeah.
I was pushing so hard, man. I fucked it up.
I saw you slide out. I was like, thank God.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. Very
Appreciate
awesome season, getting your first PRA dub. You love to see it.
it. Yeah,
Now,
finally getting somewhere.
now on to business with these two boys. As long as my
He's got it.
math
I already know
checks
he's got
out, I believe Inferno is going to be the season 22 Silver Series champion.
Furno.
I believe it's going to be very close, and I may have messed up the math because I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, and I've been awake since 3:30 a.m. So who knows? This is unofficial, but if my math is right, it'll be Inferno by 1 point.
Damn.
So
I thought it was all tied up.
if it is all tied up, I know it was for a while because of the bonus point that Wumbo did have for the fast lap until Soulpun said no.
Hey, I would have had it if Soulpun didn't say that.
But no, definitely keep an eye out for the Wetberg math because I'm not confident on this one. I'm very in between. Like I think it's either tied or one of you has it by 1 point. So either
If you said it was a two-point gap, he beat me by 3 spots.
I believe it was a 2 point gap going into the last race. So
It was.
yeah, and he got him by 3 spots, and there was no bonus points given to either of you. So once again, as long as the math is correct, Inferno, your season 22 Silver Series champion, Wumbo putting up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, he was.
And one hell of a season. I mean, just listen to the stat line. 4 pole positions, 2 fast laps, 3 race victories, 83 laps led. I mean, textbook season right there, man.
Yeah, Wumbo's
Hey,
killing it.
If
Good
you
job,
want to
you
know
guys.
what just won the championship, go back to the first week. Inferno passed me on the last corner of the last lap of Savalax.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
For second place, he said, "If you would have just stayed away from me." I said, "Hell no, man."
Well, very well done to you guys. Hell of a season out of the Silver Series. I'm excited to see what happens for next season. Obviously, Inferno is going to come join the dark side again. No getting demoted this time, brother. Wumbo, I wouldn't
we'll
sound
see how
too
it works
excited
out.
because you might be jumping up with them.
Yeah, Wumbo is coming up with me. All right.
We're gonna take Texas with y'all. So.
Yeah, we're taking everyone. I saw Graham in the chat. He's like, take Texas, take nuclear, take. It's like, take them all. I don't want them. Anyways,
All
guys,
right, guys.
hell of a season.
Alright,
Hey, it was fun.
I'm going to close out this stream. Shout out to everyone popping in the chat and hanging out. Flash saying boo, wired boo. I don't know when that was, but love it. Make sure you don't go far. You're going to have Mr. Texas and Inferno up in the booth for the
Whoop, whoop.
Gold Series Championship. Just a reminder, there's only a 2-point difference between your leader and the man in second, so it's going to be a sick finale for sure.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Petrie, thank you for commentating with me.
Hey,
Congratulations.
thanks for having me, man.
Of course, anytime. You're always welcome. I hope Inferno notices that I gave you a chair, but, you know.
I'm just taking your chair 'cause you're leaving. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, make sure to tune in. They're going to get us started right away.